We have breaking news out of Utah where officials have the 22-year-old Utah man, Tyler Robinson, in custody for the alleged shooting of Charlie Kirk. Robinson is a 22-year-old man from Washington, Utah. He is a white man. His mugshot has officially been released this morning. I want to provide you with all the updates after Governor Spencer Cox just gave a press conference outlining the investigation and information we learned about the alleged suspect, because there's a lot of misinformation on the internet that needs to be debunked. First, according to reports, the suspect's father recognized him from publicly recognized photos, urged him to surrender, and involved a youth pastor who then contacted U.S. Marshal Services to take the suspect into custody. He was taken into custody around 10 p.m. late last night and has been investigated and interrogated by law enforcement officials overnight and continues to be interrogated today. But according to reports, he confessed to his father already. This man is 22 years old. Investigators say they were told by family members that Tyler Robinson had become, quote, more political, and before September 10th mentioned Charlie Kirk's upcoming visit to the university, saying Kirk was, quote, full of hate and spreading hate. Authorities say that Charlie Kirk's murder suspect asked his roommates via a message to retrieve the rifle that was allegedly used. Kash Patel allegedly harshly criticized agents on the Kirk case in a profanity-filled video call yesterday, one day after wrongly tweeting that the shooter was caught without informing his staff, fueling doubts about his leadership. The casings at the Charlie Kirk murder scene had messages including, quote, "Hey fascist, catch," arrow symbols up, right, down, down, and, quote, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." There was no evidence of anti-fascist or trans ideology as reported by the Wall Street Journal other than the word, "Hey fascist." The suspect, Tyler Robinson of Washington, Utah, is an unaffiliated voter with two relatives registered as Republicans. Midas Touch and other internet sleuths have found that Facebook account of his mother. And according to that Facebook account, Robinson was dressed up in a Trump costume for Halloween in 2017. And another image showed his mother reportedly describing Robinson as, quote, "a leather-working, gun-toting, cowboy-loving, brilliant kid." Now, that is all the updates right now regarding the Charlie Kirk shooting, but we're learning about the ramifications of what happened. And this morning, Donald Trump spoke to Fox and Friends when he was asked, essentially, how are you going to bring down the violence in this country? There's far too much violence in this country, and his answer was stunning. He said, essentially, that there are radicals on the right. Their radicalism, though, often stems from a desire to prevent crime. He contrasted this with the left, asserting that the radicals on the left are the problem, framing left-wing extremism as the true danger to the country.
Radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders. The worst thing that happened.
Donald Trump really wants to frame this as a right versus left issue, when in reality, violence is violence and impacts both Democrats and Republicans. Melissa Hortman, a Democratic state representative in Minnesota, was assassinated just 3 months ago. That was an assassination. That was political violence. Charlie Kirk was killed 2 days ago. It happens to the right. It happens to the left. This is not unique to one party. Now, meanwhile, Trump also urged, essentially, the Justice Department to move quickly with this trial, trying to compare the United States or moving the United States closer to China.
He did to her was unbelievable. And then he walks through, the knife is dripping blood and everything else. One thing I say, we have to have quick trials.
Yeah.
I call it quick trial, because in China, they do have quick trials, you know? They don't wait 6 years and
Yeah, you
claim
start
all
off
sorts
guilty and
of
you end up
reason.
guilty in China.
Oh, it's terrible. What happens here is you go through 7, 8 years, and by the time it ends, and then they say, well, you know, he had a reason to do it because he wasn't treated right in grade school, and it's his teacher's fault, and it's the government's fault. That guy they should have a trial the following day, as far as.
But do you know that they said?
I mean, when you have somebody on tape, here's a guy on tape getting ready to, and then he did his thing. The whole thing is on tape. This should not be going on. This trial will go on. It'll start in 2, 3, 4 years. We have to have, in certain places that do it differently, they have what's called quick trial.
Trump's statements essentially want the United States justice system to work as fast as China's when there are significant human rights abuses associated with China's justice system. Oftentimes, people are convicted without a free and fair trial, whereas in the United States, yes, trials take a long time. Yes, it takes a long time to essentially get to trial, but individuals get more due process, at least a semblance of due process. There are still plenty of wrongfully convicted people in the United States. But I do want to make something clear based on everything we have just seen and everything I have just reported. The Wall Street Journal was irresponsible by promoting this idea that the shell casings contained trans ideology and anti-fascist ideology. That conspiracy theory spread like a wildfire on the internet. There was no trans-related issues on the bullet casings. None of it at all. And yet the Wall Street Journal allowed it to spread like a wildfire. Yes, the bullet casing had the word fascist on it, but this wasn't at least from that alone, it did not seem like this anti-fascist, or pro-trans kind of message that the motive behind the shooting. Yes, it is clear, at least from investigators, that he didn't like Charlie Kirk, but he's an unaffiliated voter. He's not radical left. He's not even a registered Democrat. He may not have liked Kirk. He dressed in a Trump costume. It seems like he came from a Republican family based on all public reporting. There's a lot that we don't know about. And instead of speculating and instead of blaming the radical left or the right, whatever you want to blame, instead of blaming someone, politicians need to be better right now in this moment and just focus on the investigation, allowing law enforcement officials to fully investigate this individual and come up with an answer to the motive. We still don't have that. I will continue providing you updates as always. Make sure to subscribe to support my work, and I'll see you this evening. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.